The old wizard character from the observatory in Majora's Mask was right. You should develop your interests while you're young. I was watching the final set of Cobra Kai episodes and realized if I'd actually developed the interest in karate that I initially had, that I got scared off from because of the birthday punches. I'm not trying to say that I would have. Okay, I'm about to. If you haven't seen the final 5 episodes of Cobra Kai, I'm going to be bringing up some spoilers for that. So bookmark this video, watch that if you care about spoilers, and then come back to this. Okay, last chance. Three, two, one. I'm not saying that I could have gone pro like Robbie and Tori did with their sponsorship deals, but you never know. Or at the very least, I would have more that I can talk about than movies, TV, and video games. And also, I would have had something else more in common with one of my friends. Although we do have fun doing voice impressions of people we've known over the years and wondering how they'd react to situation X. I call it our friend fiction. I got the idea from an episode of Bob's Burgers where Tina Belcher went from writing fan fiction to friend fiction. It's in one of the early seasons. I don't remember the title off the top of my head, but anyway, yeah, that goes to show why you should develop your interests when you're young. I was a teenager when that episode dropped and I watched it. No, I think it was part of the really brief season 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I guess the reason that it makes a lot of sense is because that's when the mind is still developing, and they're called your formative years for a reason because you're forming the interests you'll have later in life, or developing a foundation, if you will. Or if you have that foundation, it's a lot easier to keep it going from there. So let's say an alternate timeline where I wasn't scared off by the birthday punches. Definitely would have been something more than just that. And maybe it would have been a better alternative to Cub Scouts, which I think I'll do a separate video on my experience with that. Yeah, by middle school, I essentially had given up on extracurricular activities, organized ones, because I just wanted to play video games. Yeah, that's the interest that developed when I was young, from when I could first hold a controller and played the retro arcade collections from my dad, the ones that he bought for us, and then more contemporaries like the original Lego Star Wars game. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get into and it's a lot less of an uphill battle to scale it up, if you will. I'm not saying in terms of financials or anything like that, but to make something more of it. Again, and like Robbie's counselor said in that one of the final episodes of Cobra Kai, I'm not every student athlete goes pro in their sport. And I guess that's also true of other things beyond other activities. Like, look at me with video production. I took the video production class, I took the college classes, but I got into it really late because I wasn't willing to commit. And here I am now. I'll tell you what I am committed to: daily videos like these. So yeah, in that alternate timeline, I might be doing a karate YouTube channel. Maybe I'd be doing vlogs around that. Well, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be. Who knows if I'd still be creating content in that alternate timeline. I mean, it would give me something more to talk about out than this. I'd be able to make more heavily edited stuff, or I'd have something worthy of heavily editing. Yeah, that being said, not just because you're older like I am now, doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean that you can't ever get into it. Like, I've seen this meme where Morgan Freeman was in his 50s when he got his first big role, like his breakout role that got us to know Morgan Freeman as we know him now. Like, when did Morgan Freeman become a big name? Because I know he's the same age as my grandparents, and I've heard about him all my life, but that's because I was born in 97. I'm pretty sure Driving Miss Daisy came out at some point before that. I don't know. I just know that he was on that list of names of people who started getting somewhere when they were older. It's not going to be as easy, and you won't be able to enjoy it for as long. Using Morgan Freeman as an example, he's in his 80s. Again, he's about the same age as my grandparents. So that means he didn't even get to enjoy being a well known actor and getting the big roles and all that for the majority of his life. Yeah, I don't know if he was acting for all that time before then. I know that there's this one elderly woman whose acting debut was in Black Panther 1, and then she had like one or two other roles, and then Black Panther 2, and she died before that one came out. But still, you, you had someone who got into acting in her late 80s, and this one actor did who did some kind of presentation at slash Q&A for students at my college said something about how at 22 I was still very young for getting into the profession, into the industry. And in the years since, I've actually looked at casting calls online and wondered, maybe I could try my hand at acting. I mean, Chuck Norris didn't get into acting until I think he was 40. Yeah, No, in his 30s. He was 32 when he did Way of the Dragon, but that was di- but that was before his main set of movies. Yeah, when Chuck Norris was my age, he was sorry, I'm all right, I listened to his the audiobook of his autobiography, and yeah, I think I should go back to that and see what I can apply from that. I mean, yes, things are different today, but there might be some basis in that. There might be something I could learn from it. Just like how I said in my 25 boomer advice tips that I rated, some of this is still applicable, but a decent amount of it isn't. Such as walking into a job, walking into a place with a firm handshake and asking if they're hiring. But the point is, it's good to develop your interests while you're young because then you can make something more of it and then it'll be easier to get into. Like if I'd gotten into kickboxing like I am with Apple Fitness Plus, I do it 4 times a week on my Apple Fitness Plus plan, and I'm finding I really like it. Like I wish I'd actually stuck with combat sports like I had when I tried karate when I was 8 because I'm not saying I'd be a UFC fighter today or anything like that, but you never know. And again, I'd have something more visually interesting to do for content creation. Yeah, I already talked about how I developed my interest in video games when I was younger, and that's why I still enjoy playing video games to this day. Like I've been playing through Pokemon Scarlet way longer than I expected because I guess it's kind of took me back to my interests in Pokemon. Like when I was in middle school, I was dedicating myself to exploring every little bit of the Johto and Kanto regions and Heart Gold version. I guess that's what's keeping me drawn in there. Let's see, what other interests did I develop when I was younger? And the video production ones, the video production interests. I developed that a little later, well, middle school and such. So basically, I developed my interests in video games and video production when I was younger, and only now have I actually started getting into things that are beyond that. But I think I've gone on long enough about that, so I'm going to leave it here for the video. Comment interests you've developed over the years, whether you developed them when you were younger, older, whether you agree with me that you should develop your interests while you're young so that you can make something of it like what I realized about karate with the Cobra Kai finale and Cobra Kai overall. And if you watch this and are mad that I spoiled the finale for you, I'm sorry, but I warned you. Give this video a like, subscribe for daily uploads, and I will see you soon.